Next.
எதுக்கு return of property கேஸ்ல எடுக்கற?
How did baby Kannan know that Binu's case was next even before it was announced?
45 சவரன் ஹியரிங்க்கு 10 ரூபாய் வச்சா?
Baby Kannan, who has been doing this for a long time, needs to be told this.
போலீஸ் தரப்புல இருந்து யாரும் வரலங்கயா.
We later see that it was baby Kannan's partner who bribed the officer so that he wouldn't come to court. But we can see from his expression that he didn't know about this. Firstly, why wouldn't he plan and discuss these tactics with his partners before the court hearing? And secondly, what would have been baby Kannan's plan to postpone the hearing if his partner didn't bribe the officer?
நான் சொல்ற வரைக்கும் கோர்ட் பக்கமே வரக்கூடாது.
There were so many officers who were involved in this case. So why is this officer the only one who needs to be bribed? Can any of the other officers show up in court and testify instead?
ஃபீஸ் ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் பண்ணிட்டியாமா?
Bino honestly should have just deducted the cost of the food and transferred the remaining amount.
ஸ்டேஷன்ல தொலைஞ்சு போன 60 பவன்ல 45 தான் ரிகவர் ஆச்சுன்னு சொன்னாங்க.
இதான முதல்லயே சொல்லிருக்கணும்.
But didn't the team go to the police station the day before? They would have also gotten the case file, so why didn't baby Kannan and his team know about this?
இந்த போலீஸ்காரன் நோடி நம்பவே கூடாது சார். யார் வேணாலும் நம்பலாம்.
The irony of this guy saying this.
திருநவனாக அப்படியே கொடுப்பான். அன்னைக்கு நைட்டே அதை எடுத்துட்டு போய்
மகாபலிபுரத்துல உல்லாசமா இருந்திருப்பான். உங்க ஸ்டேஷனுக்கு இப்படி எஃப்ஐஆர் எழுதலாம்னு சொல்லி கொடுத்ததே நானே எங்க டீம் தான் மேடம்.
But wouldn't this actually be possible though? What if the officers were actually telling the truth here?
பெரிய அட்வொகேட் மேடம். ஸ்டேஷன்ல இருந்து குமாரன் சார் கூத்தான்னு சொல்லுங்க.
Does this guy get an extra commission or something for promoting baby Kannan?
கடவுள் பார்த்து பாரு.
Unfortunately, in this movie that doesn't happen until you pray to him. Is there a reason that Bino and the father have to follow the lawyers when they go on breaks? Can't they just insist on waiting at the court for the hearing and leave immediately after the hearing is over?
ஒரு கேஸ் விஷயமா வெளிய விசாரிக்க போயிருந்தேன்யா.
Again, why is this the only officer who can testify in court? What about the other officers from the station who were also involved in investigating this case?
ரிப்போர்ட் கொடுத்தியா?
ஐயா கொடுத்தேன்யா.
Wait, so all this officer had to do was submit a report. Why does he have to be in court to do that? Couldn't he have just sent it over via email or post?
ஐயா எமர்ஜென்சியா கிளம்பறாரு.
This movie will never explain what this emergency was. And how did this guy know that it was an emergency? There's no way he could have heard what this guy whispered in the judge's ear.
அசிங்கமா கேக்குறாரு ஐயா சேம்பர்ல கூப்பிட்டு.
But I thought the judge had to leave for an emergency. And I'm not on baby Kannan's side here. But how is he responsible for Bino's father's outburst in court? When watching this movie for the first time, Ghost was a character that first stood out to me because I felt like him living in court for 30 years was an exaggeration for the movie and was a mistake. Because in those long years, the judge would have changed, court staff would have changed, and someone would have noticed this guy living here and would have asked questions. However, the more I thought about it and the more I read online about others in similar situations, I realized that Ghost's backstory is really emotional and surprisingly realistic, and his character is written to represent everyone who has been forgotten and thrown aside by the justice system, a well-written character.
கோர்ட்டால தீர்க்க முடியாத பிரச்சனை கூட இந்த சாமி தீர்த்து வச்சிரும். Once again, if this was actually true in this movie, this court would not have been this corrupted. Binu's father prays for Karuppu to help him, but he does not specifically mention baby Kannan. So why does Karuppu only go after baby Kannan for the rest of the movie? Almost everyone who works in this court are corrupted, from baby Kannan's associates to the police officer to the judge. All of them had roles to play that led to this moment. So why didn't Karuppu go after all of them too?